Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We are doing our 31st episode of SEO for Bloggers. So glad to be here live in front of everybody. We also have attendees joining through Zoom. So hi, everyone at home.
Hi, Zoomers. Doing it live.
Yeah.
Hey, how many of you are familiar with our SEO for Bloggers webinars? Yay. How many of you have no idea what we're talking about?
We're not judging. Well, no, you'll figure it out today. Today's episode is keywords, topics, and intent. And I know a lot of you are confused, so we're going to explain it, break it all down for everyone today. We're also going to have a Q&A at the end where we've got a couple team members who are going to, hand out a mic and let you ask us some questions. And we're going to play a fun game called It Depends. Anytime you hear us use that phrase, it depends, please raise your hand. And Dan in the back is going to call out who he sees first and hand them some really cool swag. We've got potato soup sweaters.
Yes.
Courtesy of Arson. And pillows with some of your favorite faces up here.
And aprons. The aprons.
And aprons, that's right. Oh, and Casey's here too. He's just really quiet today. But yeah, so as some of you must already know, our experts are here. We've got Arsen Rabinovich, Aleka Shunk, Ashley Segura, Andrew Wilder, and I'm your host, Melissa Rice. Hi. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves to those who don't know you? Take it away.
Hi, my name is Andrew Wilder. I'm the founder and CEO of NerdPress. We're happy to be here sponsoring again with Tastemaker. For those of you who don't know, we provide website support and maintenance for WordPress sites. I see many clients out in the audience. So come on and visit us on the third floor if you haven't already. We'll answer your tech questions and we can tell you a little bit more about how we can help you with some ongoing support.
And my name's Ashley Segura. I'm the co-founder of Top Hat Content and Top Hat Social. We offer content audits, topic ideation, topic calendars, paid social, pretty much anything you need within the content and social space for bloggers.
Hi, my name is Aleka Shunk. I have a food blog called Aleka's Get Together. I'm founder of Keywords with Aleka, which has a few keyword courses, including cooking with keywords. And I offer all kinds of coaching services and everything around keywords.
My name is Arsen. I'm an SEO.
Oh, come on. You're a little bit more than that.
I'm the founder of Top Hat Rank. Work together with Ashley. We have a team. Those of you who worked with us, you know what we do. And we also created this webinar for everyone.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention, but for those joining us on Zoom, we're going to take a couple questions, maybe one or two. So feel free to submit those in the Q&A in the Zoom. Right? We're good. Let's
You guys ready to get started?
Yeah, we're ready.
Yeah.
I think we should.
All right.
All right. Like I said, we've got to kind of clarify what these three things are. So can you break it down for us, Andrew? Keywords, topics, intent.
So I'm not going to say the words yet.
Come on.
No, I'm just gonna lay it out there. So
You don't want to do a practice one?
you know what? I mean, should we see if the system works?
Yeah,
Let's go.
let's check the system.
So really my answer to that is it depends.
Over there, yeah.
There we
That
go. First,
Have to get
Good job.
out.
Great job, everyone.
All right, let me actually answer the question now. So keywords are often also called a keyword phrase are what people actually search for, right? So somebody types into Google the keyword, the search query, that's a keyword. The intent is what they're really trying to get at, why they're searching, the information they want. And then the topic is basically the overall topic. So I want to give you an example from a real world situation with a client of ours. She was the #1 search result for foaming hand soap for years. Like she was crushing it on foaming hand soap. Well, her blog post was actually about how to make foaming hand soap. So when people were searching, they would type in foaming hand soap and she'd be the #1 result and they'd click through and learn how to make the soap. Well, one day her traffic just tanked and she was like, what happened, right? So we did a little bit of work and figured out finally nothing was wrong technically. What happened was Google decided, hey, we've realized when people are searching foaming hand soap, they don't necessarily want to make it. They might want to buy it. So all of a sudden, Google changed the search results page. So the top half was all where to buy foaming hand soap. And the bottom half was how to make foaming hand soap. And she was still at the top of that section, but just moved her down. Right. So she's still doing everything right. She's still winning. Like there's no better way for her to do better on that search query. They changed it because Google realized they didn't have the intent quite right for that keyword phrase. And so then the topic over this would be, of course, hand soap, hygiene, I guess. So that's the intent is sort of like the glue between keywords and topic.
Excellently put. Arsen, can you elaborate a little bit more on intent and why it's so important?
Right. So let me ask you this. If I search for Apple, what do you think I'm searching for? Right. What else?
Food.
What else? Pie. What else? City, name, right? So intent can be categorized in, so there's different types of intent, but intent can be categorized into dominant, common, and minor. So dominant would be the computer, right? The common would be the apple, the fruit, and the minor would be the name or the city, whatever have you. And Google looks at this based on how people interact with the page. So if I search for Apple and users are consistently clicking on the result for the computer, for the Apple company, Google's going to prioritize those results towards the top of the result page. And then the common intent, the middle one, for the fruit towards the middle, and then for the name towards the bottom, right? And that's called a fragmented search result page. There's different types of intent. There's informational intent where most of you live, right? People want to learn how to do something. There's commercial intent. There's navigational, I want to get to a website. And there's purchase intent, I'm ready to buy. But for most of you, it's mainly educational, informational intent. So that's how Google really understands. And then there's keywords, which is the query, and that kind of drives intent or kind of tells Google what we're doing, right? So if I search for best socks for kids, I'm looking for information on what the best sock for my kids is, right? If I search for just socks for kids, I remove that best modifier. Socks for kids, Google understands I'm trying to buy socks. So my results are going to be commercial. So that's why intent is super important, especially for you. You want to make sure that the results for the topic and the keyword that you're trying to cover is going to be informational so that you actually have an opportunity with your content to be on page one.
Okay. And how is that different than like, I don't know, figuring it out, the intent behind the keywords?
Right. So those of you who have had coaching sessions with me, I talk about taking it to Google right away, right? So you identified something you want to write about, right away you take it to Google and you look at the first 10 results or what used to be page one. And that's essentially going to tell you what Google is considering or how Google is interpreting that search query. And then you'll see situations where we call it fragmented or kitchen sink result. Like if you search for tacos, Google doesn't know, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to make tacos? Do you want to buy tacos? Do you want to get them delivered? Do you want to learn the history of tacos? You get Wikipedia results on the side. And usually that's not a really good place for you to try to be with your content because there's only maybe like 3 results for actual blogs. So Google is your best free tool for that. You want to figure out intent, you go to Google and you search for it. For recipe content, adding the word recipe at the end of your query would be the best thing to do because Google will never be confused. Somebody searches for like potato soup recipe that we're looking to get it delivered. Google's not going to think that, right? So adding the word recipe to the end of your query and doing a lot of your keyword assessments and topic analysis to add the word recipe at the end would be helpful, or how to, right? When you add how to in the front, Google will never be confused that you want to buy something or get to something, right? So again, going to Google would be the best way to figure that out. And it depends. Right there, right there, right there, right there.
Right there in the front. Well done.
Keep your hand up.
I think moving on, Ashley, what's the best approach? Nice. What's the best approach? Starting with keyword research or topic research, and basically how can people be a resource while still trying to rank?
Totally. So it definitely depends. But it doesn't really depend on factors. It depends on where you are as a blogger. So lots of times we see bloggers at the beginning think these are all the things I want to write. These are the things I want to write about. I've talked to so many bloggers at this conference so far about how, okay, I finally narrowed down my niche. This is what I want to write about. So you go into it saying, okay, I just want to write about potato soup recipes. I hate that that's what I think of every time, but that's the go-to. And so you want to create a whole blog just on potato soup recipes. And you forget that, okay, actually, if I want this to be optimized and people to actually find these recipes, I should think about the keyword research first. What are people searching for? And then create content around that versus as creatives, it's hard to do, put our creative self aside and think, well, this is what I want to write. It's totally okay and appropriate to create content that represents your brand and identifies who your brand is. Like if you're a bakery, you're going to want content on there saying, this is where I get my ingredients from. This is how I support the local community. The things that really define you as a brand. And those are pieces of content that you don't care if they rank. Those are the ones that say who you are as a brand and really connect you with the customer. But when you're creating content that you actually want to get found in terms of ranking, you've got to approach it from keyword research first.
Do you have favorite tools that you use? How about Chat GPT,
Ooh.
the infamous?
Okay, so tools first and then Chat GPT. Tools, absolute favorite tool, SEMrush, their tool, topic research toolkit. Absolute favorite. I've talked about it on so many of our webinars, on so many of my presentations. If you don't have SEMrush, I know paying for another tool or the idea of paying for a tool can be incredibly overwhelming. It's $99 a month. You're getting a social tool, a content tool, an SEO tool, a local tool, an influencer tool. And there's just so much inside all of that. Like you could rabbit hole inside of SEMrush for a really long time. But over at Top Hat Content, we really dive into that topic research tool because you can put in a topic. If you're a local brand, you can choose the specific city or state that you want results to populate for, and it'll populate all the who, what, when, where, why, how questions people are actually typing into the search results. It literally dictates the questions that they're asking. You can come up with topics based on those questions, and you can dive into sub questions underneath there, and those can be your heading structures. It can really dictate a whole outline for you. So SEMrush's tool is my absolute favorite for coming up with topics. At Top Hat Content, we do content gap analysis as well, to where you're really trying to identify the keywords that your competitors are outranking you for, and then creating content around that, which I'm sure you'll cover a lot of the keyword stuff, so I won't dive in too much there. But as far as ChatGPT, I love it. I know we're all a little scared of it, but I love it. Should it be the tool that you go to be like, come up with 20 new topics for me around potato soup to publish between April and May of this year, and trust that every topic that it puts out is something that's going to make you rank? No, definitely not. You still need to use your keyword research tools to say, okay, is what the topic that it's putting out aligning with my keyword research goals, and is this going to connect at all? Otherwise, you're getting on that creative side again and just creating content based on topics you want to write about, not that you're confident are going to rank. So it's a great tool to use as a guide, but like all tools, it's just a tool.
So I guess that goes into my next question. Is it possible to rank with AI, content written by?
Oh, it depends.
Who got it?
That
Oh,
re-
that's
that really
that's
felt like a setup,
Andrew
didn't it?
based below.
Oh.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing and really freaky.
Cute.
And now I'm dizzy. Thank you.
Where will he put it? I wonder.
And now I'm blushing. Great. Thank you.
I think it depends where he puts it.
And I,
What do we got? What we got, Dan? Another pillow. That's a Casey based pillow. With a cowboy hat.
Okay. I'm sorry. What was the question?
Is it possible to rank with AI written content?
Yes. However, you need to be really careful. Google actually put out a whole page on this. I think on their developers blog on February 8th. We'll get the link in the show notes if you want to come back. They basically said good content is good content. And that Google's been saying that for years, right? They've been dealing with computer generated content on a lot of sites. what I would suggest is don't just trust ChatGPT. It's a really good tool. I want to give you an example that's not a blog post, but an email. How many of you earlier this week got an email that said, is your website up Schitt's Creek?
I got that.
Okay, now 73% of you should be raising your hands because that was our open rate on that email. So
They don't remember.
it's okay. It was a long time ago. So I was going to write an email like, hey, come visit us in the at Tastemaker up on the 3rd floor in the NerdPress Lounge. We'll help you with your site, blah, 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 love Andrew. And I'm like so uninspired, right? And then I found that GIF of Moira Rose saying, I have questions. And that gave me the idea, hey, let's play with this a little bit. So I said to ChatGPT, I had to write an email first because I didn't want to write the whole email. I had to write an email saying, come to the 3rd floor. And I wrote something that was pretty good. And then I said, okay, rewrite it in the voice of Moira Rose. And it did it. And it was amazing.
So cool.
It was so cool. So then I said, okay, let's play with this some more. How about a scene between Moira and David? And it wrote the whole scene. Yeah, like I get goosebumps. Now it wasn't what you actually received in the email. I spent probably 2 hours iterating with it and saying, hey, I want a different catchphrase. And then it says fold in the cheese. And I'm like, what? Right. So, but I had so much fun writing that and putting that together for you guys. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna be way more compelling. I hope it was, than a really boring email, right? And then I kind of brought it back together and, so I had to manually do a lot to make it fit and be really genuine and feel genuine, but it was such an amazing tool and experience for me that I don't fear it. I love it because I actually like writing this stuff now.
I like it because it gives me a lot of validation. I like ChatGPT for that. I've done my own kind of like research and compiled content and then compared it. And it comes pretty close, but you always have to put your creative spin on it. But it brings me validation. It knows I'm doing a good job, I guess.
And if you're writing your blog post, use it. You can use it as a first draft, but then definitely make sure your voice is in there, right? So that's how you are going to rank with AI generated content because it's not just AI, it's AI plus you.
Yep, exactly. Alika, is there a good target for keyword competitiveness for beginners, especially?
I mean, I think everyone's that's here uses a keyword tool. And if you're not using one, you should. And they all offer a different competitive score, difficulty score, right? Obviously 0 is the easiest. I'll refer to key search since a lot of us do use that and it's very cost efficient. But of course, going for the blue keywords are the best keywords, right? If we can find that, it's like a winner and we're like, shh, don't tell anybody we found it and we attack it, right? But that doesn't mean that, you can't go for the green keyword. So blue is 20 and under. Great keywords. If you find one, your chances of ranking are very likely. The green keywords are great. I'm blogging 6 years now. You don't have to be a beginner to target blue or green, but if you can find them, I'm always keeping an eye out. But don't let that deter you from going after more competitive keywords. So a lot of people I've talked to in the last day here, I feel like a lot of people are frustrated or beat down by all of the ever-changing rules of SEO. And I get it. I get the same way too, because keyword research and SEO can kind of pull that creative piece out of us. And it's unmotivating at times. And I get it. So don't let that volume or that difficulty score be the end all be all with whether you go after a keyword. If you find a keyword that you really like, and it's like a yellow higher than you really want, don't be like, oh, fine, I'll just pick another one. Go after it. So for example, if you're publishing 3 recipes a week, maybe make 2 of them SEO optimized. Look for a blue green keyword in your favor. And then that 3rd one, make it an F it keyword, I call it. So screw it, go after it. Even if it's a yellow or a red, take your chances and make sure it's a keyword that you really want to create a recipe on, because that's going to keep you motivated. And it's not going to be a lose-lose in the end. And you never know, in a year, 2 years, 5 years, you still may be able to rank for that keyword. Just make sure it has a volume. If the volume's there, you're good. You never know what you're going to be able to rank for. And I'm always, when I'm researching and analyzing other bloggers, I'm like, wow, I would have never thought that this low authority blogger could rank high for this keyword, and look at them, right? So think outside of the box when it comes to, difficulty. Don't let that be your end all be all. Okay. And keep that creative, we all need that creativity and that to fulfill our passion. So I just 2 to 3, 2 to 1 ratio, I think is good.
And there's proof. We've seen it. We've seen new bloggers rank.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt to try.
I think it also depends on your authoritativeness.
Right here,
Just wanted to
Knock
say-
that one
right here,
in.
the first one right
Yeah.
here. What do we got there? A sweater, potato soup sweater. Yeah.
Aleka, I know Ashley touched on some favorite tools, but are you using ChatGPT? Do you have a favorite keyword research tool?
I have used it for a non-recipe post. It was amazing. I've used, I don't know if you guys know Jasper. It's much better than that. It just goes and goes. And it's awesome because it won't recreate the same exact content. So if you say, do this, and if you say it again on another computer, it'll be totally different. But yes, I've used it. I haven't used it for recipe posts because I'm a little bit weary of what it's going to
Yes.
produce. But I don't really use it that much. My go-to tools are key search, rank IQ I use. Ahrefs is that's my jam. That's like, if you can afford it, it's like so worth the investment. It's very similar to SEMrush. I've used that before. I went to Ahrefs and I stuck there just because I am super familiar with it now, and I forced myself to learn it. And yes, that's what you have to do. I know it's super intimidating, but force yourself. You're going to become, I mean, you guys all created blogs. You guys are tech savvy. You can learn that if you just put the time into it. But key search is my go-to. I love how it has, you were talking about the content topic research tool in SEMrush. Key search, which I emailed, if you're on my subscriber list, I emailed everybody about the features in key search that some people don't know about. They have a content assistant that shares with you the must words, the semantic keywords to include in your post. It provides you with like a snippet that's pulled from the top results in Google that give you an idea of what other bloggers are talking about and maybe topic ideas. It gives you popular questions around that topic. It gives you header ideas so that maybe you can reformat your post when updating. It gives you the SERP analysis straight in the tool, so you don't have to go to Google. And it even has an AI feature now, if you guys noticed. It's not a chat GPT, but they're trying to keep up. So there's a lot that key search is adding, and they keep providing. But one thing that I don't like about key search, I don't know if you guys are aware that when you're analyzing your own keywords, it limits to 1,000 keywords that you can see. So if you've been blogging a long time, you should be ranking for 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000 different keywords. It only shows you the first 1,000 results, which kind of sucks, right? So that'll be maybe the 6th result. And then below the 6th result, I was looking earlier, but what's on page 2? So it's limiting, it's inexpensive compared to Ahrefs, but like tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs, you can see all your 30,000 keywords, right? And search for the keywords, which is super, super helpful and time efficient. And I mean, it pays for itself. So I think it's a great tool.
But good for beginning.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. I think we're going to segue into topics now. So Andrew, when updating old content, is it okay to change the topic? And what should bloggers avoid when doing so? Should they avoid changing anything?
Oh, it depends.
Yeah,
You all saw that coming.
right.
What do we got?
I think so.
What do we got? What do we got? Over there.
So
if what is that? What is that? An apron. Yay.
ooh,
Have fun with that.
many faces of arson. So if you're updating old content, the one thing I want to tell you not to change is the URL. Don't change the URL. I know it's painful because you wrote that blog post 2 weeks into blogging and you talked about the farmhouse trip and the 3 recipes that went with it, and you want to get rid of the farmhouse stuff because it's off topic. Don't change the URL, right? Because if you do that, Google thinks it's new content. You've basically just wiped out the history for that URL. Okay, so that's like the one big rule is don't change it. But you probably don't want to go too far off topic. If you're going like totally changing it around, just write a new post, right? So you don't want to totally reinvent the wheel there. But beyond that, you will be in a different place and have different experience now compared to when you originally wrote it, and use that experience and really, I think, expand the topic. And you may want to expand part of the topic and shrink part of the topic if you were kind of covering a few different things. But yeah, don't change the URL. That's the big takeaway.
We get that question a lot, so thank you. Aleka, would love to know specifics and details on, I guess, low competition and high volume. Can you break it down for us?
I mean, I talked about the competitive score already. Obviously, the lower, the better. Blue, go for it. Green, go for it. But volume is always tricky because it depends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an arson face below. Lucky you.
No,
Depends
somewhere
how
nice.
long. Yeah, that's
Definitely
that's like
another
a
one.
real photo of you. It depends on, obviously,
One more.
that
There.
one was on accident.
same, it depends.
And that's a sweater right there. No. We'll get you one. We'll get you one.
She's got her hand up. Yeah.
That's fine. We'll get you one.
If you've been blogging, less than a year, your volume would naturally be lower because that's going to be tied to a lower competitive keyword, right? But I mean, personally, if I was just starting off and I, have minimal posts, I wouldn't target anything lower than 300 total monthly search volume. And I think that's the operative word, total, because a lot of people only look for that number directly relate next to that keyword, that target keyword, but you're not taking into consideration all the other variations that are connected to that keyword that could be hiding, or maybe the tool isn't spitting out, or lost maybe below somewhere. So making sure that you're looking at the total volume, and a good way to do that is to type your keyword into Google, take a URL from a top competitor in the first position, plug it into key searches explorer, and see what keywords they're ranking for, and say, oh wow, all these different variations, they're in the first and second position. Let me add up this total in my head, and wow, 100 here, 200 here, 150 here. It ends up being maybe 500, 600, but key search was only spitting out maybe 75 for that keyword. So you got to do a little bit of math and a little bit of analyzing and taking consideration that total volume, kind of like Rank IQ does. If you guys are familiar with it, they give you the total yearly volume that you should expect from one keyword, right? If you search that keyword, it's not going to say 50,000, it's all of the variations that Rank IQ takes into consideration, which is why it's a popular tool. So 300 would be nice to start total, but I mean, 500, the longer you blog, 1,000, 1,500, but there's no max. But just make sure, you're only getting a percentage of that volume. If you're in the first position, you're not getting 300 if that's the total, maybe 100, like 33% of that. So that's something to take into consideration too.
Nice. Arsen, should people still go after these high volume keywords if their DA is low? We get this question all the time.
So you've heard me say this, Google has no concept of domain authority. It's not a part, like any of the patents that they filed. We've had people in the industry look over that. They have their own thing. It's called PageRank, and it's not about your page. It's named after Larry Page, the founder of Google. It's his algorithm. So Google doesn't understand domain authority. Domain authority is just a third-party score. I think Ahrefs has their own, right, domain rating, and then SEMrush has domain or it's something else. So it's just like
it's DA and DR.
Right? Yeah. Look, same thing kind of applies to keyword difficulty. It lies. The tools lie. Sometimes they see I'm like, oh, this is an awesome keyword. We have like 46,000 monthly searches, only like keyword difficulty 43. But then you actually look inside of Google and you're like, oh, like it's all like big brand sites ranking there. So even if the keyword difficulty is like very low, looking at what's realistically there, you're probably not going to beat out these large brand sites, right? So in certain situations, well, I want to say this, a lot of the time, content will still move you into the page 1 positions or the top 10 now. There's no more page 1. The top 2 spots are typically reserved for either topical depth, so sites that are specifically own that topic, like WebMD, or like if you search for like Thai food recipe, or any say Thai dishes, it will be a site that only covers Thai food that's going to be there, right? So you have that topical depth. You also have that authority, right? Sites with a lot of backlinks. But then when you look at, you can do this in any tool pretty much. You can analyze page 1 or the top 10. If you look from position 3 to about position 7, you have a nice mixture of sites or pages that don't have a lot of authority. They're there because of their content, because they're doing one or all or a combination of any of the following very well. They're matching the topic and the query. They're doing a good job at satisfying what the user is searching for. The second thing they're doing well is they're effectively predicting and satisfying the intent behind that query, why the user is searching for it. And then the third thing is they're covering that topic in its entirety based on what Google considers that entirety to be. And the easiest way to explain that is peanut butter jelly sandwich does not require 1,000 words of content. Ukrainian borscht probably does, right? So again, and I'm annoying with this, page 1 of Google or top 10 results will tell you what Google is expecting to see. So if you're doing those 3 things very well, you will hit page 1. Now, doesn't happen all the time. Obviously, there's caveats to that, and you really have to do a really good job with your content. Doesn't mean you write a lot, right? Doesn't mean like put 3,000 words on a page. But domain authority should only kind of we look at domain authority when we're doing link building. We're like, okay, how many? It kind of tells you like how authority that site is and how much authority it potentially pass to us. But as far as ranking power, it just doesn't correlate, because when you plug things in, it doesn't always correlate. Because I have clients who have lower DA are ranking above sites that have higher DA, and that just doesn't always play out. So I wouldn't look at it as like a solid metric for myself when making a decision whether I'm going to go after a query or not. Look at page 1, look at the top 10 results, and it will tell you if it's possible or if it's not.
Excellent. I think we should carve out some time now for questions. Do we have someone with a microphone to pass around? All right. Anybody with a question? Yeah, I see a hand over here first.
So in terms of search intent, for example, I was doing some research for a client the other day, and she wanted to do a garbanzo egg salad. Everything on the first 20, results that came up were all vegan, but hers was a garbanzo and egg salad. Is that something that I need to take into account in terms of intent?
It
Yes.
depends.
Yes, it depends. That's what I meant.
Right up there. Get those aprons out.
Nice. But this is a potato soup sweater.
They're cozy.
So her result has, she wants eggs in her garbanzo bean salad, but all the results don't have eggs. But egg was in the keyword title.
This is one of those where.
So
Go ahead. Go ahead.
is there a volume for garbanzo egg salad? Yeah, that sounds like a vegan variation of a egg salad, right? So I wouldn't eggs, I don't think would be matching user intent. I think most users are expecting to find no eggs in a vegan option. So for sure.
Unless there are no garbanzo and egg salads on the internet. So it's either Google saying, I believe people want garbanzo replacement, or there's no other post to have this. So that's why it's serving that. Right?
Well, it's the human layer. So like what we talked about earlier, right? So it's like when you when you get a chance, do a search for like orange chicken sauce, right? Orange chicken sauce. You'll see that only 3 results on page 1 are for the sauce. Everything else is for the recipe. And that's a byproduct of people engaging, pogo sticking, people engaging with the search result. They're clicking on the result and they're like, oh, this is not what I want. And they're going back. If thousands of people perform that, Google collects the data and then reformulates those results. So most likely what happened, and you're absolutely right, most likely what happened is that a byproduct of that, people were, when they're searching for that, they're looking for the vegan part of that. And then the machine learning process kicked in and said, well, the human data is dictating this, so we're going to change the results to be this. But the sucky part about that is that it can change really quickly again, right? So with every Google update, this result page changes a little bit. And every time it collects data and it runs a new core update, that human layer goes into effect, the data that it collected, and then it reformulates those results again.
Now, if there's a keyword volume for egg salad with garbanzo beans, that would be,
Right.
yeah. If the volume's there, don't worry much about difficulty, but the volume, then that's what it would be worth going for, not garbanzo egg salad though.
There's going to be like 7 more garbanzo and egg salad recipes coming out now.
I know, you just gave it away.
Sorry.
I think it depends on if people are vegan though.
It depends. Over there, over there. Yeah, we haven't been giving this section love. There we go. Good job. Apron.
Anybody else with a question?
Does the age of a post matter? If it's formatted well, the content is good. So I'm an OG blogger and we have good content that now, you know, I've been blogging for 12 years, but some of our good content is 5 or 6 years old. Is it worth going back and just updating the date, like just to see if that'll help, or does Google care?
Never update the date unless you're actually updating the content. It's a cheat way through, but doesn't actually work because you can change the date, sure, and users will see it in the search results like, oh, this is in 2023. I'm going to click on it. Oh, but everything's still about 2021, or it's hard for recipes to be that specific about dates. But if you're going to update the date, definitely optimize the post, change the content in there, update the photos, use that as a great opportunity. A post that's 10 years old has great opportunity to still be optimized and still rank for keywords, especially because, as mentioned, things change, specifically keywords change. What we're searching for changes on a very regular basis. So definitely take the opportunity to update your older content because it can really depend on nothing. It just depends.
Let's go this way, this area, right there. There you go. Yay.
As far as advantage, yes, a huge advantage to updating your old content because you're not reinventing the wheel. It's already there. You've already created the recipe. You've already written the bones and structure of it. It just needs to be optimized. I like to tell our clients a 60-40 rule. 60% of your time should be updating and optimizing your existing content. 40% should be creating new content. We're no longer in the mentality of just publish, 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 publish. We need tons of content. We need thousands of word articles out all the time. And we need to be doing this on social on top of the email newsletter and everything else that you're doing.
Oh, I know.
Update what you already have and put less resources to always trying to pump out new content.
And I feel like when you're re-optimizing, you can almost kind of get inspired on what to make next, right?
Plus Google knows if you just change the date, it sees, it knows. It's watching.
Always watching. In the back, yeah.
Oh, sorry. So my question is, let me put my coffee down. I'm new to this, so maybe this is a question or something that I should already know. But I do a lot of Mexican recipes, so a lot of sopa de albóndigas, and I use traditional wording, and then it's like in parentheses, meatball soup, you know? So when it comes to like keyword and titling my recipes, is sopa de albóndigas competing with Latin written out recipes, or am I competing with American recipes with US like Google? Like I don't know. And then like some of my recipes I keep in English, and then some of them I get requests to have it rewritten in Spanish.
I was just about to ask about
So
the language.
so I do that then, but it's just like for titling and keywording, I'm not like necessarily trying to get like the Spanish market, because I'm wanting to bring Mexican food into people's homes here that, you know, in the US who don't, you know, usually make it, or people who grew up in it and never learned, like their grandmothers and mothers didn't teach them those traditional dishes. And so I want you to have that connection. So
I think, sorry. If the results are all in a different language, then I think that would be the heads up that, hey, we're probably targeting this type of these people speaking this and that want to read this. But I've also seen people use both, titles. If you're targeting English readers, then I would just keep that though. Otherwise, or vice versa, or you can just mention it in the intro as well. The fancy, I don't even know how to pronounce that. You can mention that in the intro and then Google will pick that up as well. But seeing the results will tell you a lot of what to expect.
You also have a few spots on the page where you can convey that contextual message. So you have your meta title, you have your H1, and you have your recipe card, and they don't have to be the same. So you can focus specific keywords and specific subtopics across those three, right? So you can have your meta title be both and your H1 just be English. right?
Hi, I have a recipe that in the past 4 months has gone kind of viral. Millions of views on the reel, and I went from maybe 500, views here and there. It's gotten just in the past month, I think 28,000 views. So it's biscuits. So people call me the biscuit queen. I do biscuits all the time. I make breakfast on my story. So here's the thing is, like my husband says, you can't just keep doing biscuits. Well, apparently I can, but because that's what
Yes.
if I do a reel that's not biscuits, I get 2,000 views. I do a reel that's biscuits, I get 720,000 views. Wow. But here's the question. How do I continue to develop biscuit recipes without cannibalizing my biscuit recipes?
They don't have to all be the same biscuit, right?
No, like I just published one for Gruyere biscuits with bacon and chives, and it seems to be doing okay. It just came out yesterday, so it seems to be doing.
I would create a biscuit category,
Mm-hmm,
biscuit recipes,
mm-hmm.
plural, and then just put all your biscuit recipes in there.
But it's not like keyword wise. Are they going to like eat each other alive?
That's like a question I get all the time. I mean, if you're targeting this homemade biscuit recipe, they're not all going to be able to rank for that. Maybe two, but the longer term keywords, you'll be able to rank individually. They won't compete because it's targeting a specific type, with Gruyere cheese or with this
Right.
baked, all the different variations. But the
I mean,
main overall large keyword might compete unless you have one overall general homemade biscuit recipe.
I do. I have a
That-
flaky buttermilk biscuit, and then I have the sweet biscuit, and then I have, I have the crispy bottom cheddar biscuit. I have, just da 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 da.
Yeah, and it's important to make sure that another longer tail version of that isn't competing with the general homemade biscuit, so analyzing your keywords, but usually it won't as long as you're focusing just.
I mean,
on it.
it's crazy what happened is because it's flaky biscuits. Bon Appetit has them. Everybody has them. But I've gone from like 34th or 50th to for flakiest biscuit. I'm number 4, and I have a DA of like 4.
Right. You got a lot of traffic.
Shout out to the little guy, but
So you got a lot of traffic from social. Is that what you said?
most
Real.
it started with that, but now most of my traffic on that specific recipe is direct organic search.
Okay.
So Google must have decided that maybe I know something about biscuits.
Yeah.
So
Keep an eye on it. I hope it doesn't drop, but just if you're not constantly getting that traffic.
it's constant.
Okay, good. I
Like
hope it's
every day on a Tuesday at 9 p.m. I mean, it's weird. Okay. So
Continuing to
keep biscuits.
continuing to publish more content on biscuits, it's going to continue to show that you're an authority on making biscuits and that yours are the flakiest. And I do vote that we should probably change out potato soup for biscuits because everything you said
Yes.
sounded so good.
I disagree.
The cheddar.
Boo.
Oh, the biscuit with the cheddar cheese skirt. That's all.
Can I come over?
I think it depends.
Oh.
I could.
All right, go.
Good luck, Dan.
We have a question here.
Modifiers to our titles of our recipes. So a meatball soup, for example, how do you make your recipe stand out in search results and add modifiers without changing the user intent? How do you balance that?
I'm going to quickly jump in on this. So be very, very careful with that, especially since I think it was the December update. We saw a huge shift. Google's like super specific now, right? I'm going to use the potato soup example again. And I've talked about this, I think, on the September conference, the virtual Tastemaker conference. For potato soup query, potato soup recipe, we used to get like baked potato soup in the top 10 results. Not anymore. And there was a Cooking.New York Times article. It was there. It was solid. It's now like position 30, if not less, because Google understood, again, that human layer, right? That people who are searching for a potato soup recipe are looking for that, not a baked potato. So be careful with those modifiers. Don't over dilute the focus of the topic within that title, right? So be very careful. So like best, easy, homemade, those are great. But when you start adding ingredients, that starts diluting that focus.
I think we should reserve a question for our Zoom attendees.
Okay.
Matt, are you
Zoom
there?
people.
Hey, Zoom.
Do we have a question?
So in regards to updating previously published content, what is the workflow for intent and keyword research when the topic has already been published?
Wow.
Can we
Good
just
question,
open
Matt.
It depends real
Good-
quick.
Good choice. Thank you.
There's an it depends.
Can
Right over there.
you find an easier one?
I can
No.
Jeez.
That was like a big
check
one.
the Google results first and see if intent is on, because I had somebody I work with that they were targeting red velvet Pop Tarts, high volume keyword, right? But she was getting no traffic. So then you Google it and guess what's coming up? It's Pop Tarts product, red velvet Pop Tarts. And I'm like, this is why. So this is, why we do keyword research and make sure, like, I would have never known that Pop Tart has a red velvet Pop Tart brand out that you can buy, but she went through the process of making her own, homemade version, and she wasn't getting traffic. So check the results and make sure that it's informational, not transactional, right? And then check the keywords for your post before you update it to see if your target keyword is anywhere near the first page. If it's not, then and see what keywords is Google ranking this post for, and think, well, why? Maybe my post is not optimized properly, or maybe I should retarget and target a different keyword.
I just want to add on top of that, when you're updating posts, it's a good opportunity to not over optimize. So many of you probably in the past have put the same keyword in all the headings, right? So updating is the time to fix that and make it more natural, and think of your readers. That's my catchphrase. I want a pillow every time I say that. So just use what you've learned and apply that, and add the keyword variations that you're finding, right? But you make it, always think of your reader and make it as human and human focused, and not just writing for Google.
Kind of more conversational.
Yeah, we have a whole SEO for bloggers episode on over optimization, and I highly recommend it, because especially when you leave Tastemaker, you're like, okay, I need to go do all of these things, and then you're going to do a lot of them. And definitely check out that episode for more details on making sure you don't over optimize.
One thing on that, because I feel like a lot of students that ask me questions, they say, I'm not, why isn't this ranking or moving? It's completely under optimized, like not even close to over optimizing their titles. Titles are very generic, right? And it's not moving. And I said, well, maybe you try something different then. Maybe maybe you throw a keyword in at the top and you answer a question involving, maybe we just do something different, like just change it up and see what happens from there. Because if it's not working that way, don't be afraid, Yeah, you guys, I think most of you know not to over optimize, but don't be afraid of keywords. They're your friend.
And Google is not like that strict with that anymore. We used to, like, Casey and I used to, like, beat our chest, like, don't over optimize, don't put your keywords in your headings. Google is not that strict anymore. We're noticing that a lot of, like, even on the technical side, Google is like very closing its eyes on a lot of the stuff that we used to, like, make sure you fix. It doesn't really matter anymore. Google understands that this is it for this reason.
It depends.
Yeah.
That's been neglected. Right
Yeah.
here in the blue shirt.
Yeah. How are we doing on merch over there? We still got a lot?
We have exactly,
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's do this
I
section.
was gonna say we exactly have 15 seconds. Now we're down to 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so no question. You don't have a question.
Right here,
Question.
do you have a mic
Eric?
we can give her?
So let's say you have a recipe that ranks #1 on Google.
Don't touch it.
Don't even look at it.
It has never been optimized. There's one picture on it.
Can I say something?
Okay.
Fine.
I know you shouldn't, you say don't, but it depends. And this is a serious, it depends. What, yeah, you can.
There's one over here.
This is so stressful for you, man. I'm sorry.
It depends what keyword you're #1 for. No, it blank what keyword you're ranking in the #1 spot for. If it's a 30 volume keyword and it's not your target keyword, then yeah,
Right.
update it. You know
No,
what I'm saying? I think
it's a
everyone's
target. That's like,
It's a good keyword.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't touch it.
Well, then don't.
Sorry, I cut you off. I
Breathe
cut you
in.
off. Did we actually
even
get?
though it's got like a iPhone picture.
Terrible
profile-
photos.
Yeah, no, okay, not optimized.
No one minds it.
What
I'm
model
gonna get that,
iPhone?
yeah.
If it's number one, Google thinks that's the best answer to the user's query, right?
And if it's maintaining that, you don't want to mess with it. It depends.
It depends.
Right there.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We're
That is all, you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
so much.